Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera show. And I'm so excited to welcome my special guest, Jenny Brule. And Jenny is from Charlotte, but she lived in Augusta for a brief period of time. Actually knew her then because she helped me for a couple of years during Masters. That's a trip, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, she has a brand new book. Man, you have been quite a busy girl. Learn to Cook 25 Southern Classics 3 Different Ways. What a great title.
Thank you.
And it speaks so completely to everything that you're doing in the book.
Yep, we take the classics and then do a contemporary healthy version and then do an international version.
Awesome. Well, what different things are we going to be doing today out of the book?
So today from the book, we're going to do a classic sweet potato casserole. Then we're going to change things up and do an African sweet potato and peanut soup that's spicy and really, really delicious. And then I'm going to make an international version of deviled eggs called Truffled Devils. And I was hoping you would make your classic deviled eggs.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it. So let's get started on the classic sweet potato.
All right, I'll start on the inside.
All
I've
right.
got just sweet potatoes here. And these are mashed, and you can make them in the oven or you can make them in the microwave.
Okay.
It's just in order to get them cooking.
Well, then I'm going to put together a little kind of custard stuff that goes in it, which is eggs and milk.
Yeah. And that will help bind it. The eggs will help bind the sweet potatoes all together.
I love to smell all these ingredients. Is that okay?
It smells like the holidays.
I know it. You know, these are the things that you just bring the memories home when you start, and of course nutmeg, there's nothing better.
And I put in butter, sugar, and a little bit of salt, and you always want to balance things out with salt and sugar.
And then I'm going to add this to you, correct?
Yes, please. I'll hand it over to you. And while you mix that up, I'm going to start to make the streusel for the top.
And then you know, I get a little heavy laden with my butter in the casserole dish, but I don't like messy cleanup.
Yeah.
And I love butter in my casseroles too.
Me too. Butter in everything.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now this is the strudel topping, and your butter is cold.
The butter has to be ice cold.
Okay.
So you can cut this in with a pastry cutter or you can use your hands. Clean hands work just as well. And what I'm trying to do is combine the butter with flour and pecans and brown sugar. And what that will do is because the butter's cold, when it cooks then it will make it crispier. You don't want it to turn to a paste. You want it to remain as crumbly as possible. And this will just go right on top.
Well, and you know, everybody gets in a rut, even though this is the classic of the sweet potato that we're going to do. Maybe everybody hasn't done a streusel on the top.
Yeah, some people are marshmallow people.
I know. We actually talked about that in the test kitchen when we were working on some of these recipes. Is that so many of the sweet potato casseroles have that. So this is just your basic 9 by 13. And then I've got that spread all in there.
Perfect.
And at this point, when we put the strudel on, you could freeze this uncooked.
Yeah, can you?
Yes,
Great.
Absolutely. You can freeze this uncooked, pull it out when it's time for the holidays, and it's good to go. There's nothing in it that's going to change during the freezing process. And through my years in the mail order vegetable casserole business, I learned quite a bit about what holds up well. Now, I will recommend if you freeze this that you want to let it thaw out before you bake it.
But how great to do that ahead of time.
Absolutely. And you know, this time of year, we're all about that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're one of those marshmallow people and you just can't step back, you can throw a few marshmallows on top of the strudel.
Sure. You can have it both ways.
Whatever you need to do to make the family eat it, right? Oh, wow. Well, this just looks fantastic. And when we come back from the break, Jenny, we're going to get started. If you are a soup lover, do not touch that dial because you absolutely, this soup with the sweet potato and peanut, what a combination. You want to come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining us, I'm with Jenny Brule, who's from Charlotte, North Carolina, has a brand new book out. The title is this long, Jenny, but it's a great book.
It's called Learn to Cook 25 Southern Classics 3 Ways.
That's right, and 3 ways are classic,
Contemporary and international.
Love it. So the sweet potato with the strudel on top is in the oven. It just smells great in here. So now we're going to get started on an international twist to the sweet potato.
Right, right. So this is West African sweet potato and peanut soup. And this is my hands down favorite soup.
Oh, wow.
It's so delicious. We're going to start with, we've got some simmering chicken broth. If you want to make this vegetarian, you could use vegetable broth.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask that you add to it, this is chopped raw sweet potatoes, so those have not been cooked yet. They're going to cook right in the broth, soak up all that chickeny flavor.
Ooh.
And then celery. It's a really, really simple dish. Onion.
Okay.
Tomato
Love that.
paste.
Okay, tomato paste.
This will give it a pretty color too, and a nice depth of flavor. And then last, red pepper flakes for some spice.
Okay, all right.
And so if you'll cover that up, and then you want to bring it to a boil, and as soon as it hits a boil, reduce the heat to a simmer and let it cook for about 15 minutes, just until the sweet potatoes are tender.
Okay. All right, well, we did some ahead.
So we've got that here. This has been cooked for 15 minutes. The sweet potatoes are tender. I'm going to add the peanut butter. This is where the peanut comes in. And this is natural peanut butter.
Does that peanut butter look good to you, Jenny?
This looks like the best peanut butter I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you know why?
Why?
Because I ground it at the fresh market yesterday. I've always wanted to do that.
Was it fun?
Oh my God.
It looks fun.
I just, well, first of all, I looked like the village idiot when I was standing there, and I was like, okay, I didn't even notice that the peanuts were already in it.
Yeah.
But I felt so gourmet.
You were doing something.
I'm telling you, and peanut butter is one of my favorite foods, so that was one of the reasons I was so excited about it, because I love sweet potatoes, I love peanuts.
Yeah.
And, it's just a great sounding dish.
Well, and you know what? I don't love sweet things, so I love the fact that I can incorporate peanut butter into this, and it's not an overly sweet dish.
Well, let me ask you about this whole international thing, because here's a towel. This whole international thing, and your concept around the book in general, because of course you're a Southern girl, and so what brought about this bringing in an international to the actual classic Southern?
Well, so our family lived abroad for a long time, for about 7 years. And when we lived abroad, we traveled as much as we could. And I realized that really food is a common denominator.
Right.
And it brings people together. And there's so many similarities between different cuisines and different countries. And it really is also a great talking point. And it's a great way to learn about history. It's a great way to learn about geography, about climate, how do things grow in certain areas. That's why we love okra in the South, because it's hot here.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, food is such a great way to learn. It's not just sustenance.
And the fact that you've mastered creating the recipes that we all grew up with, and taking that ingredient and doing 3 different things with it, I think, gets you out of that rut of, there probably isn't a week that goes by that I don't do something that has a sweet potato in it.
Really?
Or something that has broccoli in it. And, you take that recipe and do something different and classic with it. One of the things that we are doing in our next part is with a we all say hard-boiled egg, and I had a home ec teacher, Jenny, that wouldn't let us say that. She always said hard-cooked. And so in Vera's Corner today, I'm going to show you a trick that maybe you don't know either about how to cook an egg really quickly, not boiling it in water like we're all accustomed to. The other exciting news today is that you're giving away some of these cookbooks.
Yes.
So we're going to have a contest to win some of these cookbooks that we're doing all the recipes from today. So you've got a lot to look forward to, so just sit back and stay tuned and come back with us after the break, and we're going to get started on the hard cooked egg recipes.
Vera's Corner is brought to you by Georgia Bank and Trust and Southern Bank and Trust.
What do a steamer and a dozen eggs have in common? Well, I'm going to show you a trick today for hard cooking eggs that involves these 2 things and no boiling at all. Place a steamer into a large pot and run water up to 1 inch below the steamer basket. Cover tightly with the lid and bring the water to a boil. When boiling, add the eggs to the steamer basket, up to a dozen. Replace lid and steam for 12 minutes. Remove the eggs and replace into an ice bath. Let the eggs sit in the ice bath for 10 minutes. Gently crack the eggs on the kitchen counter and then remove the shells under cold running water. Now you have the perfect hard-cooked egg. Well, I'm learning a lot from you, Jenny.
I'm doing the same.
You know, and I think that people are going to really love this book. You know,
Thank you.
I just think there's enough about it that makes you want to try these recipes. And you know, in the end, and it's all word of mouth.
Yeah.
And so you're in front of a really great audience right now, because I love all you people that
Please
watch
buy my book.
and watch the VeryVera show and the comments that we get back. So during Vera's Corner, I showed you a trick about making hard-cooked eggs. Was that crazy?
Yeah, it works.
It works. It is so easy to do. And so now we're ready to do these two different recipes. You asked me to do the classic, which is like one of those in-my-head recipes.
Yeah.
And then you're doing an international.
Yes, I'm going to use some truffle. So truffle oil and truffle salt.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to get started cutting mine and getting the yolks all together, because you've got a lot more interesting things going on over there than I do.
But it starts out all the same, right? Just getting the yolks out and then mixing up with some really yummy flavoring ingredients.
Now I've got to brag about this method to hard cook eggs, because you know a lot of times you get that gray craziness around the outside. Would you look at how yellow the inside of that egg is?
Yeah, well, that's great.
Love that.
I love deviled eggs. I love all sorts of deviled eggs, and there's such a trend in restaurants now.
I know it. Well, there's several places that'll have the egg of the deviled egg of the day. But, you know, I cannot do any family get-together, whether it's casual or formal, without deviled eggs being on the menu.
It's
because
expected.
Everybody, it is. Everybody in my family loves them. So as long as you're doing them, you might as well do a lot. You've got to have enough egg yolk in the bottom of the pan to mix all the goodie in it. All right, so mine uses salt and pepper, French's mustard, yellow mustard, and then I love to use Durkee's in mine. And then
I never thought about that. Both. I love that.
Yes. And then instead of traditional sweet relish, which I used for years, once I learned about Wickles, I started using Wickles.
Is that a dill or a sour?
It's a hot. Oh, you would love it,
I would
Jenny.
love it.
You love the hot stuff,
Spicy.
so you would really like that.
That sounds good. I can't wait to try yours. I'm just putting mayonnaise, which is very typical, and then I'm going to put in some truffle salt, again from Fresh Market, and it's fantastic. This is a great product that they sell there. And I'm going to put in also some truffle oil.
Well, let me tell you about this truffle oil.
Okay.
So this is black truffle pecan oil. It's a Georgia company, Pecan Ridge Plantation, and this is made right here in the state of Georgia, and I really hope you'll love
the fact that it's pecan oil flavored with truffle. That's very unusual. It's usually just a vegetable oil. That's going to be great.
Okay, and I'm just putting in just a tad of this and a tad of that, because we had only 6 eggs each.
And it's really the taste, isn't it?
Great.
You know, whatever, I was making some pimento cheese deviled eggs. Those were really good. There's so many things you can do.
Okay, now this technique is really different that you're doing now. So you're making it flat.
Right, I'm filling them and then I'm flattening them out, and I'm combining here Parmesan and panko breadcrumbs. I'm doing that because I'm going to dip the filled eggs into this, and then I'm going to saute them in butter filled side down so they get crunchy and just absolutely delicious and warm. So it's like this, and then I put them in my butter, and they'll just get a little bit golden. It takes about 5 minutes, and they get a little golden, and they're just, I'm addicted to these.
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to try that. Okay, so then I am going to, a lot of times I'll just take my spoon and just fill them, but this time I'm just going to take just a Ziploc bag and put this mixture in the Ziploc bag and use it. I know it. Use it as a piping bag. Okay, so now how long do those stay in there?
These will be in just about 5 minutes. You just till they're golden, and it's just one side. You only do one side of the egg, and then we'll take them out and and they'll be golden and crunchy, and the Parmesan gives it an umami blast.
Oh wow! Okay, so I just cut the end of that. I'm going to start just piping that in. So we've got a little bit to do, a little bit to do to finish up here. We're going to be giving away some cookbooks, talking about that in just a few minutes.
Yes.
And we're going to be making a spread with some great presentation ideas, and I'm all about the presentation. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Oh, this is so much fun. Welcome back, everybody. And Jenny, this is my favorite part. You know, I love planning a party just to get to the presentation part. I love to cook, but there's nothing like the final product and the way everything looks. So at this moment, the only thing that we can't see is the soup.
You ready to see it? Ta-da!
Yes!
The big reveal.
Oh, man.
Isn't that? It's a beautiful color. And so this is the peanut and sweet potato soup, and it's got some tomato.
Now, you know what? I want to know, what restaurant have you been to where that was on a menu?
No, I've just read about it. It's from West African countries. A lot of West African countries have their own version.
We've got a few tips for some folks out there, because there could be nothing more southern sounding than sweet potato and peanuts.
Yep. I'm going to finish it with some crunchy peanuts, and then the lime juice is a really nice foil for the richness of the peanuts.
Wow, I love it. Okay, let me just be scooping up a little bit of this. And
so
that
this is classic.
strudel just is crisp.
I love that.
Look at that.
Oh, you can hear it.
I know it. It's just crunch.
Soft inside.
That is so beautiful. I just love it. All righty. So that will definitely be on some holiday buffets coming up.
Yeah.
All right. We've got 2 different kinds of eggs.
Yeah. 2 different kinds of deviled eggs.
My classic deviled egg, which was just the mayonnaise and the pickle relish and the mustard and the Durkee's dressing, and I did a piping thing with it. And then from a presentation standpoint, if we're going to go casual, then I love pottery, I love wood, so I've just used a little bit of alfalfa sprouts there to kind of give it the feeling of a bird's nest.
Yeah, plus it'll
and
hold
that
them steady.
on a big leaf is really just pulling all of that in. But from a contemporary or fancier, or the international side of things, the long and skinny, just plain white, again with the alfalfa sprouts. I love that. Okay, so then you finished your egg while we were away during the break, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I filled them. These are the truffled devils. I filled them and then smoothed the tops, and it has truffle oil and truffle salt in them. And then I dipped them in panko and Parmesan breadcrumb mixture and sauteed them filled side down in butter, because who doesn't love butter? And then just so they got a little crisp. So they don't get totally warm all the way through, but they get crunchy on the outside, and it's really a lot of umami in there, and it's a different way to serve.
Well, and we were talking about that those would be great as a past warm hors d'oeuvre. So in the test kitchen, we were thinking of other ways to display, and I left for an appointment. I came back, and the girls had gotten together and had cooked the angel hair pasta and made little nest and then quick fried it. And is that just the cutest thing ever? So, that's another way. Get your young people involved. You've got 4 daughters, so I'm sure that they're in the kitchen with you quite a bit.
Yeah.
So we've got lots of different things going on here, but all of this is what you're going to learn and grow from by using Jenny's cookbook, which is completely fantastic. And the good news is that we're giving away 6 copies of your book. She has been so generous in doing that. And the way you can get involved to win one is that we want you to like us on Facebook, we want you to post it, and we want you to comment about where you're watching. And Jenny, we're in 6 different areas. Let's go. We're in Augusta and Aiken on WJBF. We're in Charleston on WCBD. We're in Columbus, Georgia on WRBL. We're in Macon, Georgia on WMAZ, my hometown. Myrtle Beach, WFXB. Savannah, Beaufort, Hilton Head, WFXB. SAV. So do everything you need to do on Facebook to win one of these books. And certainly for you, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. I have learned so much. I know all of you have as well. I hope you'll come back maybe in the spring and do this again. I think that would be awesome. So as I always say on the Very Vera Show, no matter what you do it in good taste. And we've got some great tasting to do today. I'm going to start with the sweet potato, and I hope you'll come back and join us again next week for another episode of the Very Vera Show. Woo.
I want to get into your eggs.
Fantastic.